Hello and welcome everyone, Josh Ferris back at it again with some more Epic 7. Now today I got 3 videos for you. I'm going to be making a video for Charles, a video for the new, obviously, Araminthra Moonlight version, which I know a lot of you are pretty hyped for, and of course the new Moonlight Dingo as well. We'll be talking a little bit about their skill multipliers, which were data mined, thankfully for that, and we're going to be talking about their skills, possible builds, strategies, etc., what kind of content that they may be good for, you know, all that good stuff. So this video we're going to be starting off with Charles. Now, as you know, Charles just released yesterday. He's the new current rate up banner. He is a Earth Knight, which I was spot on when I theory crafted that, I believe 2 days ago, which is pretty awesome. But anyways, so the biggest thing to take away from his skill multiplier is his S3. I believe it's his S3. Let me just double check here. Yes. So his S3, I believe it's like 50% damage that he does additionally on his S3 when there's only 3 or fewer enemies. I think it goes up to like 80% when there's 2 or few. And then it goes over 106, 108% when there's just 1 enemy. So he's going to hit pretty dang hard in Guild Wars, because Guild Wars is already set up specifically for this type of character to go in and do what they want to do with their current skill set, which is amazing because that 3 vs 3 benefits Charles quite a bit. And the fact that he can be tanky, he can hit pretty good, and he's even got some pretty modest speed for a knight. I mean, he gets well over 100 base speed, and that's pre-awakening or anything like that, so that's really, really good for a knight. His HP is kind of around the middle of the pack in the entire game. It's not on the low end, and it's not on the high end. It's just right there in the sweet spot, which is good because he does gain a little bit of attack as well. So his stats are pretty balanced out, which we'll show you that in a moment. So yes, his S3, which is awesome, and increases attack of all of the allies and increases his own defense, which is very, very good for a frontliner such as Charles, especially when he's a tank and his defense is well over 600 base as well. So very, very cool there. Like I said, with his skill multipliers giving us that information, he's going to hit pretty hard when it's down to 1 enemy, which makes him very viable for boss fights in PvE. The fact that he's a stripper as well, he likes to take away buffs, is going to be very clutch because almost everything in the game, including PvP, is going to have buffs galore. He also gets a 1-turn cooldown here on his S3, making a 4-turn, and his soul burn cost is actually pretty cheap. It only requires 10 souls, or what I like to call 1 soul charge. That's just kind of my name I give for like every 10, just to keep it simple. You can even give him additional, it looks like 30% damage as well if you max out that S3. So very, very cool. His S2 is a 3-turn cooldown, which you can take up to 100% effect chance to dispel all buffs if you take it to +4. And again, you can get an additional 30% damage as well. Attacks the enemy repeatedly with a giant sword with an 80% chance, which like I said could go to 100 to dispel all buffs. Damage dealt increases proportional to the number of buffs granted to the caster. I believe, thanks to the skill multipliers that we got leaked on him, I believe he gained 7%. I believe it was 0.07, which I believe is 7% additional attack per buff he gets beyond 1. So basically he'll get an additional 7% on 2, another 7 on 3, another 7 on 4, etc. So if you have him stacked with a character such as like Rin or something, and some other heavy buffer, and his own self buff on his S3, he could potentially have 5-6 buffs easily all the time, which is pretty nice. Excuse me. And the cooldown is not that bad either, only 3 turns, and the fact that he can attack with Smash off of his S1, because it does proc into his S2, with a 25 to 50% chance, depending if you're attacking a buffed or non-buffed opponent, which in this game, you're pretty much always going to be attacking something that's more likely buffed, because bosses in this game, they all got their own like eternal buffs, or they have the minions around them that buff them. In PvP, we're in a very buff-heavy meta where everyone's running buffers. So, in all likelihood, it's going to be more leaning towards this skill being 50% chance instead of 25% chance to activate Smash off of your S1, which means that quite often he's going to be attacking with his skill 1 and skill 2, especially in PvP. So this leads to a few different types of builds that you can have for him, especially with a set that you don't see too many people rocking, which can now be useful for Charles, but we'll get into that in a moment. Now his S1 also gives you a decreased attack with a 50% chance, which is nice, which you can take up to, I believe, 60%. If you go to +3, plus you can get the additional damage as well. So very, very cool. So his skill set is very, very nice. Now let's actually preview his stats really fast. So let's go ahead and take this all the way up to 6-star Awaken, because that's kind of like where I like to gauge these things. Maybe we'll do 5-star Awakening, because I know sometimes 6-star Awakening is a little bit tricky. So we'll go by that. Oh, that's not. Oh, they're not gonna let me do it. Well, will they let me? Yeah, they're not gonna let me go down 1 star, are they? No, they won't. They won't let me just do 5-star Awaken. Whatever. So, anyways, so his base attack can get up to 957. His health can get well over 6100. His space speed can get up to 109, and his defense is 634. He also gets up to 24% critical hit chance. So he already has a pretty good start on critical hit chance, which, you know, with the right type of gear, you could easily get that up to 70, 80%, maybe even 100% if you want to go pure damage with Charles. His attack being 957 kind of puts him right around as, I like to call it a floater DPS, where it's not quite all-in DPS like you would want with like 1,000, 1,100, maybe even 1,200 attack stat, but he's not so low that he's not going to do much damage, which would float around, in my opinion, like 800 attack or lower. So he's kind of right around there, again, in a sweet spot. I feel like they just kind of wanted to make him extremely balanced, because his speed at 109 is pretty damn decent, especially for a tank. His 634 defense puts him right around the middle of the pack as well there. His HP, like I said, is 6,100. He's not on the low end. He's not on the high end. And when I say high end, I mean like regular Ken, who gets well over 7,000 plus HP, which I believe he's like one of the highest. I think he is the highest base HP guy in the game, somewhere around there. So at 6,100, very good HP. So you're gonna be able to get his HP pretty high. His attack being at 957, like I said, you can still get that pretty high as well. It's not around 1,100, 1,200 that you'd like from a pure DPSer, but then again, Charles isn't pure DPS. He's built more, I would say, generalizing for all forms of content. He's going to be that buffer, he's going to be the stripper, he can do some damage, he can defend. So he's kind of like a very good all-in-one smorgasbord of a character, and I kind of like that. It's pretty cool. Gives him a lot of flexibility and a lot of utility within the game for all forms of content. So yeah, so his base stats are really good. Now, with the way his skill set works, there is 2 big main sets that I could see working for Charles very, very well. And that being Lifesteal, because since he doesn't technically, his skills technically don't scale to any one thing, you could use Lifesteal set with him. You know, which will give, I mean, especially if you have the 85 Abyss set, you could give him very good HP, it would give him pretty decent speed, it would give him good attack, probably easily 3k plus attack, no problem, especially if you 6-star him, which I'm assuming a lot of you would. It would give him damn near 100% critical hit chance, and, you know, pretty modest critical hit damage. So he'd be kind of right around the ballpark of being an all-purpose unit that could work on your front line. He can do damage, he can get you through certain stages of content that requires you to kind of debuff, remove buffs, give buffs. I mean, he does a little bit of everything. So, like I said, he's very versatile and very good. So, Lifesteal set with maybe hit, Lifesteal set with crit, Lifesteal set with immunity. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. Now, if you want to make him more on the slow end and make him more just damage or more just pure tank, I would recommend giving him at least 1 immunity set. That way, you know, by the time it gets to his turn, because he's not going to be one of the fast units on the field, you don't have to worry about him being debuffed to shit and possibly getting killed. So I would say maybe 1 set of immunity with a Lifesteal set, or 1 set of immunity with counterattack. Yes, counterattack is another good set for this guy, because you can keep just proccing that S1 and S2, S1 and S2, and you do a lot of crazy damage and do a lot of shenanigans. This guy is damn near one of the more ideal characters in a game with counterattack set, much like regular Ken and even Moonlight Ken, especially Moonlight Ken, who loves the counterattack set, but he's also good with the Lifesteal. So Charles is kind of falls into that category, being able to be good with the Lifesteal set or counterattack set. Now, there's other sets that you could use. You could go all HP and defense, all defense. If you want to make him purely a wall to put in front, that can do some other things for you. But I feel like my 2 favorite sets for him would definitely counterattack or Lifesteal. And then you can attach onto that an HP set, an immunity set, or a hit set to get his effectiveness up. to make sure that you get those decreasing attacks on his S1. And don't sleep on decreasing attack. That is massive. You get that a decreased attack off, the bosses or even other characters in PvP or even just minions, it makes them hit like a pillow. So it is very powerful, especially for a frontline character to kind of force a character to attack you and he hits like a pillow and you're a tank already. So it just works out well. And his, like I said, his defense improvement that he gives to himself is really huge, makes him a very good frontline character in the game. So very, very cool. Now I'm not going to preview his skills because you guys probably all saw the update anyway. You could watch that YouTube video, you know, where they show off all of his skills in action, even against, I believe, like the Banshee and stuff. So very cool there. Now I have unfortunately not pulled Charles yet. I would love to pull Charles, but I wanted to go ahead and make a video talking a little bit about him, a little bit what he can do, kind of about his skill set. And he does give you a critical hit chance if you do put devotion into him, for any of you out there who pulled dupes. So that's pretty cool as well. But yeah, overall, out of a 10, I would give Charles a 8.5, possibly a 9, because he's not like, oh my god, he's a limited character type of, he's not like a Tamarine type of OP or a DN or a Luna. But I would say, I would strongly put Charles in my personal top 10, maybe top 15, depending of all characters available in the game right now. He's actually that good. I feel like he's very, very decent. He's very well-rounded, very balanced. He could do a lot of things for you. So, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about Charles. Do you like him? Do you not like him? Do you like his skill set or not? What kind of gears do you want to put on your... I'm sorry, gears. What kind of gear would you like to put on your Charles? Do you agree with my choices of either using Lifesteal or a counter-attack set on him? Elbrus Ritual Sword is a very good artifact. The artifact that he comes with isn't too bad either. You know, there's a lot of other things that you can do with this guy to make him really, really cool. So anyways, I'll let you guys out of here, and I'm going to get out of here myself, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And like I said, I got 2 more videos coming where I'm going to be breaking down the new Araminthra, Moonlight, and Moonlight Dingo. So I hope you guys all enjoy those later as well. Until next time, I'll catch y'all later. Please subscribe if you're new. Join us in the Discord in the description below to join us before and after the videos. And go ahead and drop a like if you did. And again, comment below what you guys think. Until next time, peace.